Hi there, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to be discussing capacity building for deeper learning. My name's Melissa Klein, and members in my group are Katharina and Fawn. We are students of Post-University EDU 609 Curriculum Design and Theory, and our professor is Peter Madonia. First, let's define what capacity building actually is. Capacity building is a process by which an organization or an individual obtains the knowledge, skills, tools, and other resources needed to better themselves or the organization. Capacity building, in terms of student learning, is when educational organizations and teachers strive to implement the changes needed to increase the standard at all levels of the organization and ensure deeper learning for all students. Capacity building impacts the organization because it develops the culture, accelerates the speed of change, fosters sustainability, and as people become more and more involved in deeper learning, reflection, and problem solving across the organization, the strategy is reinforced. The net effect of capacity building is an increased group focus and collaborative learning of the educational organization. Successful educational systems have focused direction. Focused direction is an ongoing process that involves initial and continuous engagement around core goals. Focused direction centers around few and focused goals. The problem is not the absence of goals in districts and schools today, but the presence of too many that are disconnected and ever-changing. Too many goals results in overload from too many projects and initiatives. Even if they are good ideas, the sheer volume makes it impossible for people to manage in a way that gives any depth. Focused vertical and lateral interactions over time fosters greater shared coherence. The strategy's focus is to build and support relationships by connecting educators and districts across the state to one another, to high-quality information, resources, and professional learning supports, as well as to promote greater alignment between and among statewide initiatives. Collaborative work is a key factor in capacity building. Organizations that support learning, innovation, and action build a culture of growth. When the organization values the talent and expertise of its people, it creates leadership development strategies that grow internal capacity. Leaders who possess a growth mindset build capacity in others and help them achieve more than they expected of themselves. Lead learners are an essential aspect to cultivating the growth mindset needed for building capacity across an organization. Lead learners build professional capital across their organization by modeling learning, shaping culture, and maximizing the impact on learning. A capacity building approach creates a foundation for sustainable improvement as it does the following. It emphasizes collective capacity, which engages everyone in the system with clear goals and commitment to the strategy for achievement. It mobilizes a growth mindset at all levels of the system. It sustains and cultivates improved student learning. It focuses on collaborative learning. It fosters a cross-role learning mentality, which builds a common knowledge base and set of skills at all levels of the system. And lastly, it incorporates an ongoing learning cycle of new learning, application on the job, reflection, and then dialogue with colleagues. Capacity building relates to deeper learning in multiple ways. First, it creates deeper learning for educators. In capacity building, there is a focus of development of teachers. There's a shift from a focus on teaching practices to a deeper understanding of the process of learning and how teachers can influence it. Capacity building requires knowledge building by everyone in the educational organization to improve learning for all students. Increased capacity and development of teachers in turn shape students into deep learners who are committed to learning and making real-world connections. I am not currently teaching. My future educational context will be a higher education ultrasound program. To apply building capacity to deepen learning in my own educational context, I would say it would involve andragogy, partnerships with higher education instructors and medical professionals, a learning environment that supports differentiated instruction with student-centered instruction practices and curriculum design, and carefully incorporated digital interactions. Additional resources that I found helpful were a book by Stringer called Capacity Building for School Improvement, Revisited. This book is an excellent resource for defining terms related to capacity building, issues related to capacity building, and the importance of vision for capacity building success. Next was the article called Education Reform, How Traditional and Capacity Building Approaches Differ. This article compares and contrasts capacity building reform versus traditional methods. Additionally, there is a video within the article that describes the differences between traditional methods and capacity building and gives examples of countries with high achieving schools that use capacity building. Having a clear understanding of capacity building and its components is key to successful curriculum design. Capacity building requires that the organization defines and focuses on the goals. Curriculum design is greatly benefited with capacity building because educational organizations and teachers strive to implement the changes needed to increase the standard at all levels of the organization, which ensures deeper learning for all students. Capacity building is an essential aspect of Fullen and Quinn's focused direction, which involves continuous engagement around core goals. The relationship development between educators and across the educational organization offers support to promote curriculum design consistency and standard accountability. The benefits of capacity building for educational organizations and students are innumerable, but capacity building offers some challenges. Of course, change is difficult, and typically there are persons who are resistant to implementing change. Once the learning goals are established, the processes that support all educators in the shift must be identified. Building capacity to incorporate the new strands of the instruction model will take focus, commitment, and persistence. It is difficult to move from isolated innovations in some classrooms or some schools to transformation for every classroom, school, district, and beyond. Also, schools and districts must build the momentum necessary to impact all classrooms. So how does capacity building relate to what is being done in the classroom? Capacity building requires all persons within the educational organization to be engaged. Educators are required to develop the understanding and expertise that is the foundation for fostering deeper learning. Once teachers understand the key elements that involve deeper learning, they can integrate them into the classroom so that each student is supported and challenged in their learning. Support that I would ask of the curriculum coordinator to build capacity for my future educational context of a higher education ultrasound program would be: what are the underlying goals for deeper learning? How are educators going to be supported to develop the knowledge and skills needed to make a shift to deeper learning practices? What are some ways to encourage teachers and educational staff to continue to have focus and commitment to the capacity building process? Do the established educational administrators possess the characteristics of a leader defined by Fullen and Quinn that are required for a successful shift? Are they able to lead learners? Some next steps that I would anticipate for capacity building within my educational organization would be to define the curriculum goals and begin developing educators. Here are my references. Thank you for watching.